JDM is no slouch. Let's not look past JDM. I said that in his last fight, and he went out there and he showed you guys, don't look past him. He's very, very talented.
I guarantee you he's leveled up again. His confidence in his takedowns has just went up significantly leading into this fight. I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, like I guarantee you if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. You know, only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down.
It's closer than people think. This fight, I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much on that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating Islam, you know?
MMA pros have just fired at Islam Makhachev ahead of his upcoming fight with Jack Della Maddalena. Charles Oliveira said Jack Della Maddalena hurts opponents slowly, like he did to Bilal Muhammad. He believes Islam Makhachev is stronger now and will do well. If Jack keeps striking, it will be a tough fight, but if Islam takes him down, the fight could end quickly.
O que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Maddalena, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Isla vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Isla agarrar e botar pra baixo, é o time.
However, Kamaru Usman warned not to overlook JDM, calling him very talented, and praised Islam for making the division more exciting. He said fans will want to see what happens if Islam takes the belt.
Like basically tonight you got yourself a title shot, you got yourself the winner of JDM, Islam.
I mean, you don't feel like that? Who else?
You're the biggest name, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But I'm asking you.
Oh yeah, for sure. JDM is no slouch. Let's not look past JDM. I said that in his last fight, and he went out there and he showed you guys, don't look past him. He's very, very talented. Islam is extremely talented. I love Islam. I think him coming in makes that division a lot more interesting. So if he's able to get in there and wrestle that belt away from JDM, former pound for pound, current pound for pound, I mean, I think everybody wants to watch that. So yeah.
Navajo Sterling said he believes Jack Della Maddalena will easily beat Islam Makhachev in his first title defense. He admitted people might call it a wild take, but thinks JDM will dominate Islam so badly that talk of Islam facing Ilia Topuria will disappear. Sterling said JDM's size and striking at mid-range will make it hard for Islam to shoot for takedowns or use his strength the way he usually does.
You picked JDM to win. Now he's got a big challenge in his first title defense against Islam. Do you think he's got what it takes to beat an Islam Makhachev in his first defense?
People are going to say it's a wild take, but I reckon JDM smokes Islam. Shins him so bad. It's going to be so bad that the Topuria Islam thing will just be gone.
Do you think Islam's wrestling won't be a threat to JDM just because he's a lot bigger?
He's a lot bigger, and like when you watch JDM, like you put him on the end of mid-range, he's just going to throw. That's hard to like shoot in on. He's not going to be able to just abuse his size against him either. I think Islam's in for a rude awakening.
Gilbert Burns said Islam Makhachev moving up to welterweight is a great move because he is a big fighter who had a hard time cutting weight to make 155. Burns believes 170 is the right division for him. He noted that Islam had said he would not vacate the lightweight belt, but ended up doing so, possibly due to negotiations. Still, Burns supports the move and sees it as a chance for Islam to prove himself even more.
What did you think about the Islam vacating the belt and going up and immediately getting a shot at the welterweight bout? And what do you think about that? And how different is that fight going to play out than what we saw versus Bilal?
That's going to be a great fight. Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's big. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know. I think he was a little okay. If you're going up, we gotta. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. And yeah, I like him moving up. Proving himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now.
Burns said the fight between Islam and Jack Della Maddalena is much closer than people think. He pointed out that Jack has been training with fighters like Alexander Volkanovski and Craig Jones, who helped figure out Islam's style in Volk's first fight against him. Burns believes that experience and preparation could make a big difference in this matchup.
It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of crack the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're going to have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much on that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating Islam, you know?
Corey Sanhagen said he respects Jack Della Maddalena's skills, but does not like the idea of him facing Islam Makhachev right after winning the belt. He prefers to see JDM defend his title against welterweights first before taking on fighters from lower weight classes. Sandhagen added that he is more interested in watching Islam fight Ilia Topuria and also wants to see Tom Aspinall face John Jones.
I missed that one actually, but I have watched a bunch of JDM's fights and I know that he's real good, but I don't really want to say JDM fight Islam, honestly. I don't really like when someone wins a belt and then they fight a guy from a lower weight class. I kind of want to watch JDM fight at 170 for a bit before too much of that stuff starts happening. I really want to watch Ilia and Islam fight, and I really want to watch Tom Aspinall and John Jones fight.
On the other hand, Joaquin Buckley said he picks Islam Makhachev to win if he fights Jack Della Maddalena. He added that he would love to face Islam one day if they both rise to the top, but he does not think Islam would stick around. Buckley believes if Islam wins the welterweight belt, he will likely retire soon after to protect his legacy and unbeaten streak.
Between JDM and Islam, who do you think wins that fight if they do book?
Islam.
Yeah. You feel like maybe down the line you two could fight? Obviously, if he becomes champion and you're a top contender.
I would love it, but I don't think Islam would. I truly believe if Islam is able to win that 170 title, he gonna move. What, he gonna stick around and potentially, lose that winning streak? I don't think so. I think he really just trying to cement his name, and then once he wins that welterweight belt, my man gonna retire at the end of the day. That's my opinion.
Alexander Volkanovski said Jack Della Maddalena's fight against Belal Muhammad was the perfect setup for facing Islam Makhachev. He believes that stopping Belal's takedowns gave Jack a big boost in confidence. Volkanovski thinks that confidence will carry into training camp and the fight with Islam. He said only the very best wrestlers will have a real chance at taking Jack down now, and even then, it will be very hard to hold him down.
Islam Makhachev is going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena. How do you think those two match up?
I think Jack's fight against Belal was a perfect fight for leading into that. Just purely, you take a lot out of stop and takedowns, because again, there's every fighter's still going to have little doubts that are going to creep in. I'm sure Jack was going through that, being like, all right, worrying about, what if he takes me down and all that. But the fact that he was able to stop it and feel so comfortable, I guarantee you he's leveled up again. His confidence in his takedowns has just went up significantly leading into this fight. I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, I guarantee you, if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. Only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down.
Jack Hermanson said it is hard to predict fights when fighters change weight classes, but at lightweight, Islam Makhachev looks unbeatable and might even be the pound-for-pound best. He admitted it is uncertain if Islam can do the same in a higher weight class. Although Jack Della Maddalena looked great against Belal Muhammad, Hermanson said he still leans toward Islam winning and wants to see more fights from Jack before making a stronger prediction.
Yeah, it's so hard because you never know when people are changing weight classes. But in lightweight, Islam looks like unbeatable. It's just like maybe the pound for pound best. He's just so insanely good. But can he do it in a weight class above? I'm not sure. Really, really hard to predict a fight like that. I think I still have to say Islam.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. We need to see a few more fights with Jack. He looked amazing against Belal, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's something about Islam is just so good.
John Wood said the matchup between Jack Della Maddalena and Islam Makhachev is a great fight. He believes Jack's performance against Belal Muhammad gave him valuable experience against a similar style. If Jack keeps improving and gains more confidence, especially in his takedown defense, the fight becomes very interesting. On the feet, Wood thinks Jack has the edge, but the real test will be whether he can stop Islam's pressure and grappling.
I like it. I think that's a great fight. fight. I feel like if Jack can keep building upon what he did in his, in against Bilal, I mean, he's seen that style now from a champion, and it's very similar to what Islam's going to do. I think Islam does it a little bit better. So as long as Jack is improving and getting better and his confidence is there, it's very interesting. I feel like on the feet, I think Jack's got him on the feet. It's just that obviously if that takedown defense can hold up, that's the thing.
Wood also noted that betting against Islam is tough because no one has figured him out yet. He compared it to betting against dominant champions like Kamaru Usman at his peak. While he sees some small holes in Islam's entries and believes Jack might be able to exploit them, he still wouldn't bet against Islam until someone truly breaks his style. Islam's ground game, along with solid striking, makes him a very difficult puzzle to solve.
With Islam, obviously everybody is it's one of those things where you can't bet against Islam at this point in time until you see a chink in the armor. It's like betting against Marab. You can do it. It's not a smart bet, but until someone figures out that puzzle, I don't know. Islam is a different kind of cat on the ground, and his striking is not bad. He's going to come at you and get you to strike, and eventually, take a shot. There are some holes in his game and holes in the entries, and obviously. Being Team Khabib, there are definitely some things that you can expose to get that win, and if Jack figures that out, I think it'd be the long night for Islam. But again, I wouldn't bet against Islam until I see somebody kind of break that code.
Robert Whittaker mentioned that Islam Makhachev might actually thrive better in the welterweight division, considering how difficult it's been for him to cut down to 155 pounds. He shared that the strength and skills Islam showed at lightweight might translate smoothly into the higher division. Using Ilia Toporia's recent weight jump as a comparison, Whittaker called it the big mystery everyone is waiting to see unfold, as no one really knows how Islam will perform until he steps into the cage at 170 pounds.
I guess that's the $1 million question. That's the question everybody's asking, and that's kind of the question. It's the same situation as Topuria as well. How good is Topuria, but what's he going to look like up weight division? Same with Islam. By all reports, though, the weight cut was really hard for him, like really, really hard. He's super strong for that weight division, which must translate well to moving up, making it a little bit easy cut. Maybe he gets a little bigger. It's I'm very that's the $1 million question. Everybody's asking the same thing.
Whittaker also said that guessing how Islam will do in a heavier class is tricky, as many things can change when a fighter moves up. Adjustments in both physical demands and fighting strategies can affect performance. Despite the uncertainty, Whittaker still believes in Islam's all-around skill set and pointed out that Makhachev does everything Bilal Muhammad can, only with more speed, pressure, and control.
Definitely, but like I said, it is hard to try to get like an accurate gauge on what it's going to look like, not knowing how Islam is going to look when he moves up. Okay, it's always the question everybody asks when anybody is moving up a weight division or down a weight division. Okay, there's so many unknowns involved. But saying that, I think that Islam can do everything that Bilal does, but way better. Okay, way better.
Looking at Jack Della Maddalena's last showing, Robert Whittaker felt that even though Jack earned the win, the fight had its tough moments. He sees the possible bout between Jack and Islam as a tough challenge for both sides. Still, Whittaker respects Jack's grit and drive, noting that there's something special about him. Just like he proved himself in hard battles against Bilal and Gilbert Burns, Whittaker believes Jack can once again show up big when it matters most.
I thought Jack handedly had the fight, but it was a fight. Okay, so I don't think it'll be an easy fight for Jack, but I believe in Jack. I think he's got that X factor. He's got that hunger there. He's got the ticker, and just like with Bilal, just like with Burns before, I think he can do the impossible.
In addition, Ali Abdelaziz revealed that Islam is set to compete for the welterweight championship this year, and it won't be for an interim title. He said Jack Della Maddalena holds the current belt, but if Jack is unable to compete, the UFC already has backup plans to match Islam with a different opponent for the full championship. Abdelaziz mentioned that this arrangement has been finalized with the UFC's top brass, including Dana White and Hunter Campbell. One agreement was that if Jack got hurt, the UFC would strip the title. While they hope Jack stays in shape, the promotion is prepared to move ahead no matter what.
When will it happen, Islam and Jack?
Islam fighting for the title this year. The non-interim title, a title. Jack Maddalena is the champion, but if Jack is not available, it will be someone else fighting Islam for the title. That's what the UFC told me. That's what Dana told me. That's what Hunters, everybody said. And that was one of the stipulations. If Islam go up, Jack get injured, and I hope he's healthy, and he seemed like he's healthy, this title will be vacated and Islam will fight for welterweight.
Daniel Cormier shared that if Islam Makhachev manages to win the welterweight championship, it would greatly elevate his legacy and solidify his place among the all-time greats. Cormier already sees Islam as one of the sport's top talents, but securing a second title in a heavier division would make his resume even more remarkable. Still, a fight with Belal Muhammad won't happen, as both men have made it clear that their friendship keeps them from ever facing off inside the cage.
If he is able to do this, would further cement himself as one of the greatest fighters of all time. He really would. He would cement himself as one of the greatest of all time. I think he's already one of the greatest of all time. But by going up to 170, one of the things that he would not do was fight Belal Muhammad. And they were very clear about him and Belal Muhammad about not wanting to fight each other.
Cormier also pointed out that Islam's move to welterweight is already making waves before it officially happens. He mentioned that other fighters in the division are beginning to respond to his presence, highlighting how Joaquin Buckley stirred controversy by calling out Islam for backing someone seen as a close ally. As Islam prepares to chase a second belt, the tension building among welterweights shows just how much impact his potential move is having across the division.
But then Joaquin Buckley writes, "Crazy that you were praying for your so-called brother's downfall." That was Joaquin Buckley. So not only does Islam have an opportunity to become a world champion, he's already got guys up at 170 taking notice.
Dan Hardy spoke about Jack Della Maddalena's potential, complimenting his talent, but unsure if he can stay on top in a growingly tough welterweight division. He praised Jack's strong showing against Belal Muhammad, but questioned how Islam Makhachev would handle the jump to 170 pounds. While Hardy respects Islam's dominance at lightweight, he doubts Jack would lose to him. He pointed out that the size difference and the stamina needed for 5 full rounds at welterweight might be tough for Makhachev to manage.
I think Della Maddalena's got a bright future. I don't know whether he's going to hold the belt or, he's going to lose it to another one of the top contenders and then pick it back up again. I don't think he's going to lose it to Makhachev, though. I think Makhachev holds the lightweight belt against anybody in the world, on any day, including Ilia Topuria. I don't think if he moved up, he would have much success against Makhachev. But Della Maddalena looked very, very sharp against Belal. And I wonder what Makhachev would look like as a welterweight, whether he would look as strong and as lean or whether he would look heavier and, potentially gas himself out because he'd be stepping straight into a 5-round fight, wouldn't he?
Stephen Thompson said Islam Makhachev could struggle at welterweight because many fighters in that division cut from over 205 pounds, giving them a big size and strength edge. He praised Islam's grappling, but pointed out that Jack Della Maddalena has already faced elite wrestlers like Belal Muhammad. Thompson thinks it would be a tough fight for Islam and hopes the UFC makes it happen.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, over 205, 210 to 215. Some of the guys that I faced would walk around at that weight. I think like the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JDM might be a little taller, but when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler. But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division. Belal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him. I would like to see Islam fight Topuria. That's just me. I would love to see that fight happen. But if he comes up, we'll see what the UFC gets behind. And we all know you got to convince the UFC to make it happen. And you do that first by getting on Twitter, shouting it out, and get people talking about it. And that's what Islam did. So we'll see if that fight happens with JDM.
Ian Machado Gary showed deep respect for Islam Makhachev, saying that if he moves to welterweight, everyone in the division should take him seriously. Gary called Islam a skilled and dangerous fighter who could be even better without the pressure of cutting weight. He described Makhachev as the new kind of MMA fighter, smart, technical, calm, and a real challenge for anyone.
And if that man turns up and says, I want to be next, then I think everyone in the welterweight division goes, okay. He's an absolute disaster for everyone in the division if he comes up and doesn't have to cut weight. He'll still be big, he'll still be strong. He's the perfect example of the new evolution of fighters. Great everywhere.
Henry Cejudo predicted Islam Makhachev will beat Jack Della Maddalena and become a 2-division UFC champion, calling it the next chapter in Islam's legacy. Meanwhile, Kamaru Usman backed Jack, praising his calmness and saying he has what it takes to keep the welterweight belt. Both expect the fight to happen in October in Abu Dhabi, pushing a potential Islam versus Ilia Topuria clash aside for now.
I think Islam Makhachev is going to beat him. I think he's going to become the 11th double champ in UFC history.
Islam tweeted, keep it shiny, keep it nice for me. JDM, I mean, it was kind of like the perfect comeback. He was just like, yeah, come get it.
Keep my belt clean. Okay, so the has begun, dude. That fight is set. That fight's gonna take place in October, Abu Dhabi. I think we all know that. We're no longer gonna get Ilia versus Islam Makhachev just now.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about their fight? We would love to hear your thoughts on this. So share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.